Hey everybody, we are back in the garage. It's the 5th of January. Um, we are 4 days into our diet and 3 days into our exercise program. We didn't get to go New Year's Day. The rec center where the gym is here right across the road was closed New Year's Day. So I've been doing 2 to 3 hours a day. Every day I'm going to go every day. And I'm on protein shakes. So I still get some food, meat, high protein stuff, good fat, and no sugar and low or no carbs, so we can lose the weight quick. And by being active for 2, 3 straight hours and not drinking sugary coffee and eating the cakes and candies and all that kind of stuff we've been doing for 6 weeks while our back's been healing. I actually gained 18 pounds in 6 weeks. So we needed to lose that 18, and then we needed to lose another 18 after that would get us back to 200. So I was 236 morning of heading over to work out the first time. And last time we raced at Daytona 2013, I was a svelte and in shape 179 pounds. So would really like to get back to 180 would be ideal, but I'll take 200 pounds by April. That would be sweet. That's still losing 36 pounds. I think it's completely doable with what we got going. But getting back to what we're doing out in the garage with the back feeling a little better. I'm out here playing around, trying to get some ideas of what direction we're going, what's happening. My brother Kenny came and picked up the 1-inch DOM tubing that we're going to send up from probably here all the way up past here. As you see, we had to heat it up and straighten the chassis out. It was actually bowed when we were originally going to build an F-125 out of this for Tony Herpelsheimer years and years ago, probably 10 years ago, maybe more. That's how long this thing's been sitting around waiting for somebody to get working on it. I put these adjustable kingpins on for jack and weight for the F-125. Those will come off. We'll end up putting some type of just straight pill in there, just to get us back to a regular kingpin. The Briggsy Animal is going to have full four-wheel brakes, no little miniature brakes, no little mini light. No, it's going to have real hubs and rotors with it'll have a piston and anvil front brake, the big Paul Martin piston anvil. So if we ever want to go to a Yamaha or something else, we sell it to somebody, at least they'll have a piece worthy of working with, if they don't want to run it. And so it'll have more brakes than it needs for a Briggs. So what? Having too much brakes is not a bad thing. The reason we needed to have the DOM turned down is this hole is about 950, 955 inside, so we need to have the outside turned down. The DOM is nice because it's good and strong like chromoly. It has a lot of the same characteristics. It's far cheaper, and it comes in real thick wall. So we got an 1/8 wall, 1-inch outside. We can turn it down and still have good wall thickness for strength to strengthen this chassis up. And we'll go ahead and tie this in across the back here. We may even do it like that when they're just weld some stubs and make us a little blade or something to put in there, or a little bar to put in, for giggles. It'd be, whatever. But that's where we're at with this one here. Once we get the DOM back and it's turned down, we can go ahead and start getting this thing welded together, start really making some progress. So this one we want to have done in 13 weeks for the test day in April, and it's completely doable. We've got everything we need to put this thing together. It's just a matter of time, just getting the time to do it. Here on this side, we have a little protrusion of some old weld about there in the tube. So what we'll do is we'll take a piece of 1/4-inch round stock and either couple or weld a mandrel to the end of it, like from our air tools, and we'll send it down in there on either a cordless drill or something, or an air tool, and we'll keep grinding away on it until it's clear enough so we can just pound the DOM through. We'll probably drill some once we get determine the length that where the tube's going to sit. We'll drill 3/8 holes in the chassis, and then we'll plug weld that tube in, and it'll be part of the cart. It'll be good and strong. Here with the F-125. This is our Daytona project. I'm not building a spare cart. This car, if it doesn't turn right and left, I don't care. We're going to build a streamliner with this cart, and we want it to be narrow. We're going to do some exotic things with the bodywork. We're going to literally exploit the WKA rules right to the letter. So if we're going to show up down at Daytona with something people have never seen before, and a lot of people are going to say, hey, you can't do that. You know, maybe even the tech guy, but we're going to bring a tech manual with us, and we're going to show them to the letter. There is no spirit and intent to the letter of the rules. We're going to follow right to the letter of the rules, and we're going to use them literally, and we're going to turn some heads with this go-kart down there next year. I started working on, I wanted to get the hubs mounted up, get some 710 tires, some used tires just mounted up to those wheels to give us an idea of whether we needed to grind away, remove any of the material from these bearing hangers for ground clearance, get it on something flat. We've got part of our rack from the trailer is a 1-inch square tubing rack with wood on it, which is good enough just to get an idea of what's going on with ground clearance before we decide to start, measuring to weld these things in place. And you just look at the problem we've got. The 710 wheel sticks out probably 3 inches past the chassis. Well, it does on that side, not so much on this side. It's probably a good 2 inches anyway. I don't really believe for a Daytona only car that we need 710s. We don't need a 7-inch wide tire on the rear. I think, especially if we go with a 6-inch wheel, a Douglas wheel with a metric pattern, bolt pattern, and a 6-inch wheel and a 6-inch wide tire should be more than enough rear tire to get through a 45-minute F-125 race down there in Daytona. You're gonna, in my experience, you wear your front tires out before your back tires anyway, so I don't think it's going to be an issue, and it'll narrow the cart up. But we won't know exactly where we need to be till we get the front spindles mounted up, throw a hub on, and get a wheel on there with enough room to clear our front, the Paul Martin front brakes. They look like little Brembos, right? There's a piston on both sides. Very, very sleek and small. We've had them on our old RPM chassis. They work really, really super well. And if you get the right brake pad in there, like a Pierre Huang pad in there, those things will stand this car right on end. So, and they're, we'll be able to make the car as narrow as we possibly can. The front is going to dictate how wide the back is. Overall, we're not going to go any narrower, obviously, than this here. We've had Emmett carts in the past, never had them with these bars on. If we had to cut them off, would my heart be broken? No, not at all. Like I said, this cart doesn't need to handle. It doesn't need to get through the infield any faster than anybody else, than any other laydown. And let's be honest, the cart we're on right now, the TSR chassis we're on now, is a superior handling go-kart. Hands down, I don't care what anyone says. Anyone that's raced with us close knows that we have an advantage when we don't overdrive the corners. We have an advantage on folks with that chassis. So this one here, if it just gets through the infield with an average time, we're good, because we're going to make up all our time on the oval. We want the finish lines on the oval. We want to build a car for speed. So and within the rules. So that's where we're going. We're going to probably, at this point, before we bother to do anything else with the bearing hangers, we'll get those front end parts on, and we'll take a look at that first and see what it's going to dictate for overall width and everything, and then go from there. So that's it. That's where we're at. We're going to get started here right shortly. Again, 5th of January. This one is going to be more thought and playing. This one here is going to get built up, God willing, and done and ready to go on the racetrack in April. Maybe we get Bob Kurkowski, Bobby, we get you to come up and do the first test dummy rides in it. We'll make sure it's got brakes for you, Bob. Yeah, we get some folks rides in it and see what they think. We want to get new people involved, and there's no better way than putting them in a cart and getting them hooked. And the best way to do that is with something that's not overwhelmingly fast, that isn't so technical that they they got to drive the carburetor with their foot, and they got to be able to tweak and pull knobs and handles. No, let's just put them in a 4-stroke, get them out there 70, 75 miles an hour, more than fast enough for them to get an idea. And me being who I am, I want them in a lay down cart. I don't want them in a sprint cart. So hey, there you go. That's where we're at. Again, 5th of January. Started the back rehab before I even went to the doctor. I go see the doctor next Friday on the 10th. I'll get some pictures of some x-rays and stuff of what's going on with the hardware department, and we'll follow up from there. But should be an interesting winter, folks. Stay tuned. We're going to have some cool stuff. I'm not going to show you the trick body, what we're going to do with the body on that car. I'm not going to show anybody. I don't think we're going to show anybody that until we actually get to the track. It'll always be covered. You'll never know what's going on there. And as we go testing it, we may always have a cover over it then, too. So you never know. But that's it. God bless y'all. We're praying for you. Godspeed.